In this video, we'll be formatting and linking endnotes in a Word document using the cross-reference tool. This isn't the only way to link in-text citations, but I think you'll see that it can be the most effective when set up properly. First, let's browse this document to see how in-text citations are currently formatted. I see a linked capital letter I and a linked numeral 2. Let's see what happens when I hold down the Control key and click the first link. It brings up a warning about hyperlinking, saying the location may be unsafe. I don't believe it would show this warning if the links in this document all point to locations within this document, so it must be trying to link to a location outside this document. Yeah, if I scroll down a little bit, I can see that it's trying to link to a separate document. Just for fun, let's see what happens if we try to follow this link. I'll click yes, and it says it cannot open the separate file. It is possible to link to other documents, but the best practice is to link to items in the same document. If I look in the navigation pane, I see a list of headings with notes at the bottom. I'll follow that to see if these notes correspond to the in-text citation numbers. I'll press Ctrl+End to jump to the end of the document, and it looks like there are 138 citations or notes. Next, I'll click the Notes heading again in the navigation pane to jump back to the top of the list. If I scroll up just a little, I'll see that the last linked note is 138. That matches the numbered list below, so I feel confident that I have all the necessary notes for linking the in-text numbers with the list of notes at the end of this document. Speaking of lists, we're going to have a much easier time linking the note numbers with their citation information if we make the numbered list under the Notes heading an honest-to-goodness formatted numbered list. But let's look at an alternative way to link them first. We could reuse the linked numbers in the text to connect to the appropriate line in the notes area, but those notes lines will need bookmarks first. To insert a bookmark, I'll click at the beginning of note 1. Next, I'll go to the Insert menu and look under the Links submenu for bookmark. Alternatively, I could press Ctrl+Shift+F5 to pull up the same bookmark edit window. Bookmark names need to start with a letter, but they can have numbers and words after that. A common naming convention for bookmarks is something like note_numeral1. However, typing that 138 times would take way longer than something like N1. We'll pretend that I took the time to add a bookmark to every single note in the notes area. Yes, all 138 of them. If it takes just 5 seconds to move to a note and add a bookmark to it, it will still take over 10 minutes to add those bookmarks. Once the bookmarks are added though, we can find any of the in-text links and modify them to point to the appropriate bookmark. I'll press Ctrl plus the Home key, move to link number 2, move my cursor just before the link and press Ctrl+K to open the Link Edit dialog. Next, I'll click Places in this document in the Link To menu on the left side. I see that I can link directly to bookmarks in the document, but if I collapse bookmarks, I also see that I can link to headings. I'll re-expand bookmarks and link to the bookmark titled N2. Just to prove to myself that the modification worked, I'll hold Control and click Link To. Yep, looking better. However, if this process of finding the next in-text link and modifying it to point to the correct place takes just 10 seconds, you'll spend over 20 minutes linking all 138 bookmarks. That's over a half hour simply correcting the in-text citation links using bookmarks in Word. Instead, let's look at how to leverage the numbered list in the notes area by using Word's cross-reference feature. For giggles, let's highlight in-text link number 3, go back to the Links submenu under the Insert tab, and choose Cross-Reference. I see that I can cross-reference items in a numbered list, headings, bookmarks, footnotes, endnotes, equations, figures, and tables. If we had spent all the time creating bookmarks, we could cross-reference to those, but it would be much quicker to link to the numbered items in the list of notes. However, I don't see anything listed under numbered item in the cross-reference dialog box. Turns out we need to change the list of numbers to an actual numbered list that Word recognizes. To do that, we should be able to simply highlight the list of numbers under the Notes heading and click the numbering button in the Home tab of Word. I'll click in front of the first numbered item again, and then press Ctrl-Shift-End to highlight from here to the end of the document. Next, I'll click the numbering button in the Home tab. It did add numbers to each numbered line, but it looks like it didn't replace the original numbers as I was hoping it would. I'm going to press Ctrl-Z to undo that numbering. If we look closely, I believe the issue is that the original numbered list has a space between the number and the period, and no space between the period and the text after it. No worries, we should be able to use Word's Find and Replace feature to fix this quickly. This issue with numbers and periods might be unique enough to use Find and Replace over the whole document, but we'll do a little testing to confirm. I'll press Ctrl+H to open Find and Replace. I'm going to try something as simple as typing space period in the Find What box and period space in the Replace With box. The safer approach from here is to press Find Next, and Word will take you to the next place that has a space followed by a period. It does find the issue with the numbers, so we can press the R key to replace with our period space correction. We could continue pressing the R key to replace each next item until we make it through the entire list, but we're going to throw caution to the wind. I'll click Replace All and check the fallout. That seems much higher than the 138 items in this list, so I'm going to undo that Find and Replace action by pressing Escape a couple of times to get back to the document, and then pressing Ctrl-Z to undo the last action. I think we need to get more granular with Find and Replace. I could try highlighting the area of the document that I want Find and Replace to search through. I'll move back to the Notes heading, press Ctrl-Shift-End to highlight from here to the end of the document, and press Ctrl-H to open Find and Replace. I can then try Replace All again to see if the number of replacements is 138 like our list of items. Nah, 157 replacements tells me that it's still finding other instances of space period that we probably don't want changed. The question of whether we want to search the rest of the document confirms that it is limiting the action to the highlighted text though, which is reassuring. I'll choose No, press Escape to get back to the document, and press Ctrl-Z to undo the last action. We're going to have to bring out the big guns to get Find and Replace to do our bidding. I have some code that we can paste into the Find What box, so I'll press Ctrl-H again to bring up Find and Replace. This code of left parenthesis, left bracket, 0-9, right bracket, left curly bracket, 1, 2, right curly bracket, right parenthesis, can help you find any number in a document, and we'll reuse it in just a minute for a different function. I pasted it before the space period in the Find What field, and I will leave the Replace With field alone and then choose Replace All. 0 replacements. Something's amiss. I'll click the More button in the Find and Replace dialog and choose the Use Wildcards button. Now when I press Replace All, it successfully replaces... Shoot, I forgot one thing. I accidentally wiped out our numbers in the list. I'll undo and add \1 before the period space in the Replace With field. Yes, nailed it. We had already changed one of the items earlier, so 137 replacements does sound correct. Now we should be able to highlight the numbered list under the Notes heading and press the numbering button to convert it to an actual numbered list. Beautiful. I do have one tiny issue with this numbered list. It has paragraph breaks between each item, and that's not ideal for screen reader accessibility. It's not a major barrier, but we'll go ahead and fix it just for the experience. I'll keep my numbered list highlighted and then open Find and Replace. This time, I'm going to type $P in the Find What field. If you're not familiar with the caret character, it's Shift plus 6. And then I'll type $P in the Replace With field. It may be obvious from the code, but it's going to replace a double line break with a single line break. I will replace all and tell it not to search through the rest of the document. Oh, I need to turn off wildcards for this search. Now we have a beautifully formatted, numbered list in the notes section of this document. Most of the time you probably won't need to wrestle so much with the formatting of the list, but now you have some tools when necessary. Finally, we can move back to using cross-reference to link in-text citations with their corresponding number in the notes list. I'll press Ctrl plus Home to move to the beginning of this document. I see that the first reference is a linked capital letter I. I'm going to double-click on it to highlight it. Next, I'm going to change it to a numeral 1 so that it matches the rest of the citation numbers. I'll double-click it again and then go up to the References tab. I see that cross-reference is also available here in the Captions group. I'll click it to bring up the cross-reference dialog box. It looks like we do have items to choose from within the reference type numbered list. That's an improvement. I'll change the Insert Reference To dropdown to paragraph number so that it inserts the number from the notes list as the in-text citation number. I do want Insert as Hyperlink checked, and I'll leave Include Above/Below unchecked. From here, I can just choose which numbered item I want this text reference to link to, and then press the Insert button. You might expect the dialog box to close after pressing Insert, but it's kind of nice that it doesn't. We can continue to use it on each in-text citation number without having to press a keystroke each time. I'm going to test that first cross-reference link by holding Control and clicking it. It's still trying to link us to an external document. We have a couple of options here. I could use Control plus Shift plus F9 to remove any hyperlinks associated with this numeral 1, but I think I know what's going on. I'm going to undo the inserted cross-reference and put it back to a regular link. This time, I'm going to highlight the numeral 1 and the space after it, and use the cross-reference dialog again to insert a reference to numbered item 1 in the notes area. Now when I Control-click it, I do jump to the first item in the list. Alt plus left arrow to move back to where we clicked the link. I'm going to put the space back after the number that we got rid of in the process of inserting the cross-reference. From here, we could keep the cross-reference box open and slowly pick through to find all 137 more citation numbers. Or we could use that wildcard code to make all numbers way easier to find in this text. I'll press Ctrl plus H to open Find and Replace and paste the number finding code in the Find What field. This time, I'll make sure to put \1 in the Replace With field. While my cursor is still in the Replace field, I'm also going to click on the More button to make sure Use Wildcards is turned on, and then click the Format dropdown. I'll choose Font and set the size property to 28 point and press OK. I'm going to trust this code to find and replace all numbers in the document with larger numbers, but it's not a bad idea in a situation like this where you're doing a global document change to save a copy before making changes that may not be evident until it's too late. After I choose Replace All, I see that it made a lot of changes. However, it should be very easy to set all text back to a regular size font when I'm done inserting cross-references. For these single-digit references, I can either remove the original link with Ctrl-Shift-F9 and insert a cross-reference, or I can highlight the number in the space after it using Shift and the arrow keys, and then insert the cross-reference. Just make sure to put back any removed spaces if it joins the number with the word after it. I'll test that link just to be sure. When we get to the 2 and 3-digit numbers, we can simply highlight the number and leave the space after it alone. This may seem like the longest way around to link in-text reference numbers with the appropriate endnote, but it's the fastest way I've found to do the job. And hopefully you picked up a couple of other shortcuts and skills on the journey.